we want to remind you of some things you knew when you made the decision to come. We want to remind you that the law of attraction abounds, and we want to remind you of the power of your own thought. And we want to help you to understand a very important concept, which is the path of least resistance. And by that we mean there is a current of energy that comes from source, that is on your side, that adores you and flows to you and through you, that is the basis of all of the good that life can bring to you. It comes from source energy. It's an awareness of source energy upon you and your value, your true perfection. It's source energy who adores you and who flows to you and through you. And when you get in alignment with that flow, that is the ultimate path of least resistance. It's the flow of love. It's the flow of clarity. It's the flow of well-being. It's the flow of good feeling. It's the flow of joy. It is the path of least resistance. And so love is the path of least resistance, and hate is the path of most resistance. Ease is the path of least resistance, and struggle is the path of most resistance. And so clarity is the path of least resistance, and confusion is more resistance. You see what we are getting at? So as you came into this physical body, you knew that part of you was being focused into this body, and you knew that this part of you that came into this human form would be subjecting yourself to a variety that did contain resistance. And you came willingly and expectantly and eagerly, because you also knew that the larger part of you, some call it your soul, your inner being, some call it source or God. We call it your inner being, this non-physical energy of perfection and of expansion, continually becoming more. You knew that that part of you would remain non-physically focused and would be steadily flowing to you, and that if you were in a receptive mode, you would be able to feel that clarity and that energy and that love. And you knew that in doing that, you would enjoy your expansion. So you said, I'll go forth with other humans, and I will explore the variety. And out of my personal and important exploration, I will come to my own conclusions about what I prefer. In other words, the universe will expand because of my attention and focus. My inner being will receive my desire, will understand it, and will become it, and will hold the vibrational essence of it. And because my inner being is part of me, and because my inner being has now received my expansive desire, now there is a relationship that I have, a vibrational relationship that I have with my inner being, that I can interpret or understand or feel through my own emotions. So when I'm really going with the flow of what life has shown me that I prefer newly, and my inner being understands it and embraces it and holds the frequency of it, when I go with the flow of those ideas, I feel that life force that is only present when I'm fully allowing who I really am to be who I really am. But if I give birth to a desire, but instead of going with the flow of it, I hold myself in resistance of it because I'm looking at the environment that caused me to desire it rather than the desire itself. In other words, I want more money, but I don't have enough. And if I continue to focus upon the lack of money, while my inner being is focusing upon the abundance of money, then I'm holding myself in vibrational opposition to my new decision, and I'm not going with the flow. And my not going with the flow is a path of more resistance, while my going with the flow is a path of more resistance, of more allowance. Resistance doesn't feel good, allowance feels good. You creating your own reality. And we want to awaken within you your realization of your vibrational contribution to every moment in time. We want you to find the balance between the desire that life has caused you to focus into place and the open valve, so to speak, which is the conduit between you and the energy that creates worlds. It's like a pipeline where the energy that creates worlds flows through you toward whatever it is you're asking for. And the balance of your asking and your allowing of that energy to flow is really an important thing for you to consider. We want to talk to you about it in a way that might feel a little new to you, because it's that balance of desire and belief that equals not only what happens and how it happens, but how it feels while it's happening. In other words, everything that you feel, all of the emotions that you live, in other words, what your life feels like to you and what your life looks like as it unfolds, is all about the factors, these simple factors of what life has caused you to ask for now and how open you are about letting it flow. You are supposed to be able to ask and it is given, and you're supposed to be able to let it in. Unless you have past experiences that you keep practicing. Esther believes that construction is wonderful but difficult. Esther believes that people mean well but don't always know what they're doing. And she's got so much evidence to prove it. The stories she could tell you and entertain you with, oh, you would be so entertained, and then you would add your stories, and together you would collectively practice the flawed premised theory that life is supposed to be hard rather than that life is supposed to be fun. Esther's been practicing justifying the goodness that comes to her through her hard work longer than is good for her, and you are too. We just wanted to begin this gathering with this powerful and always true premise. How things are playing out in your life experience is how you know what you're doing with your request for the supply and your letting the supply in. You can tell by two ways how you're doing creationally or vibrationally. You can tell by the way you feel, which you sort of get used to feeling the way you feel, so you don't know you're even feeling it. When you feel valiant, what's that emotion? Valiant. What is it? Is that a positive emotion or a negative emotion? Really? That's you against the world? Really? That's positive? Oh yeah, I can wrestle you to the ground. One day, Esther decided to move the rods in her closet that were not placed the way she'd asked them to be placed. Oh, it was a weekend. No one was around. She literally took a rod out of the place with great struggle because it was really tight in there, and just a smidge too long to go back in easily. So she put it upside down and hammered both ends of the pipe until it was just short enough that it would fit back into place. There. Let's just talk about your desire, which is your demand, and we mean that in the nicest way, your request from the universe for universal energies, the energy that creates worlds, to flow through you toward whatever you want. That's the deal you made when you came. You said, I'll go, life will cause me to know what I'm asking for, and when I ask, Source will provide everything that is required for the accomplishment of what life has caused me to know that I want. That's how it is. And then there's one more little thing. In other words, that's step one. And that's step two. You ask, Source supplies. Then there's step three. You got to be soft about your expectation of things working out for you. You've got to give up the struggle. You've got to stop trying to prove your worthiness. You've got to stop comparing yourself to any others. You've got to let the competitive feeling go. You've got to accept your blessedness and just let proof of your blessedness flow to you and through you with ease and flow.